And we were kind of just like, wow, we could do this better. Like we could play like more upbeat music. We could have metrics. We could have music videos. Like we could do cool stuff for spin. So it was like going to those classes and being like, man, I think we could do this better. That led us into, hey, let's try to do this on our own.
Podcasting from somewhere with protein shakes and no yearly membership fees. This is the HeroFit Podcast, the show that talks about the ins and outs of fitness, nutrition, and anything else that might get you feeling like a hero. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your hosts, Nick Stutzman and Dan Weber.
Hey, all you listeners out there, welcome to the HeroFit Podcast. I am Nick Stutzman alongside my co-host Dan Weber. Every show, we try to tackle something fitness-related, whether that be workout regimens, nutritional topics, or anything that we feel that you might find interesting. And with today's episode, we're going to talk about spin class, taking a spin class, some of the things that go along with spin classes. We appreciate you taking the time to join us today. And we have an amazing interview later on with Britannia Leo, who's going to be our spin class instructor, and who also owns, co-owner of BikeOrBar here in Buffalo. So let's get right into it. So the first part here is just going to be Dan and I talking about spin class, what we anticipate the spin class is going to be like, what we think are some of the maybe stereotypes or misnomers of spin classes, and how we feel our spin class is going to go. It's going to be both our first times taking a spin class.
If I survive it.
If we survive it. Yes.
I'll be in the rest of the podcast. Otherwise, this might be the last time you hear from me.
This could be the last time you hear from us, yes. All right, so for what I know of spin classes, you have an instructor. There's like 50 bikes, typically, perhaps, maybe less, maybe more.
Lights off.
Lights are off. Music
Lasers.
Laser light show. Music is blaring, usually high-tempo music, I think.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get into it.
The seats aren't always comfortable, so I'm going to bring some extra padded shorts.
Oh, so you have an advantage.
Well, I hope so. I mean, my shorts are just
I
thick.
did not prepare at all.
The shorts are just thicker. I'm going to wear my Under Armour leggings underneath. And I brought some shoes that I feel would be fine for riding a bike.
That's another thing that would have been worth thinking about, but
Yeah.
didn't really do much of that.
You didn't do any of those planning.
Just showing up.
You're just bringing your A game.
Yep. It's going in, completely no preconceived notions.
I
don't have many.
I have a feeling this is going to hurt.
Oh yeah, I'm really afraid I won't make it through the full workout. Like I'm going to be the one lagging behind everybody else.
I wonder if
I'm not much of an endurance athlete.
I wonder if it's a full hour. I mean, it's an
pedaling?
hour class, yeah.
Right.
But how's that work?
I don't know how much, because if it's pedaling for an hour, it's going to be tough for me.
Yeah.
The quads are going to feel good afterwards, though.
Are we going to be able to walk, you think?
How fast? Like, not briskly. Well, I think we'll be capable of movement.
I rode a bike for a long time when I was a kid, like everywhere. Either rode a bike, rollerbladed, skateboarded. Like that was my main source of
We were like the last generation to was
really
out in public without being afraid of being kidnapped.
Okay. But I also think our parents cared less about us being transported. They were just like, have fun, push this out into the real world.
Helicopter parents these days, there's no kids bike riding out and about town. Come on.
Not as much. I remember
that's why spin exists.
So I know obviously the ins and outs of riding a bike, but I know there's different resistances for these spin bikes.
Yeah. I'm assuming she'll be having different resistances and intensities. Like,
does she change that or do we change that?
I don't know if it's preset or if the coach is doing it on the fly.
Okay.
I don't know if we have to change our bike
This will be like
ourselves.
This will be like her second or third. This will be her like second class of the evening of 3. I think she's doing like a 5, 6, and 7 o'clock. So impressive that is, just to not only train people, but I guess maybe she's not going at full speed like we will be. I don't know. Or maybe it's just you just think like I'm going to be impressed no matter what.
I dated a girl for a little while who was a group class instructor, and she was all day long like teaching different classes, and she said she would go pretty high intensity because she doesn't want to look like she's dogging it, but she's doing that for 8 hours a day.
Right.
They're only doing it for 1.
I guess too the fact that I would imagine we're going to be strapped to some kind of mechanism that's going to be tracking our heart rate and all that stuff?
I know she talked about having that technology, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure what.
So if we're attached to this and she's attached to this, I would imagine that she's also competing, perhaps, or some type of competition with the rest of the group. So it's kind of like the practice what you preach type thing.
I have no idea.
This is gonna hurt. I'm really.
That's the only thing I am certain of
This
is
is
that
gonna hurt.
I'm not ready for it. I'm not conditioned to be a cycler.
So pro athlete for the Patriots, Rob Gronkowski, also a Buffalo native, took one of these spin classes. He
I
came
saw
out
that,
fine.
yeah.
I guess he's a regular spinner.
Well, if Gronk can do it, then we
Yeah,
can do it,
I know,
right?
Gronk can do it.
There's nothing special about him.
I'm just trying to think of other things that other than I feel like it's just gonna hurt. So you have different resistances.
I expect there to be like a really, as we know, I kind of lean towards a bodybuilding style of training, and so looking at it from that perspective, I definitely anticipate a good pump in my legs and just a lot of blood flow. I've heard that cycling at a high resistance for long periods of time is actually a great way to build up leg muscle. It might not do much for your strength or your power, but hypertrophy, I think this will be a beneficial workout from that standpoint.
So we got to crank it up to 11, huh?
Gonna get a lot of blood flow.
I wonder if it's based like
Time under tension.
So I think you do moves with your hands as well. It's not just riding the bike.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I've seen from like the clips on Instagram.
Yeah.
Sometimes girls like pushing themselves up, almost like
Right.
explosive push up off of the bike.
Off the bike, yeah, or lifting one hand, lifting.
And
both
I've seen
hands,
synchronizing it with music.
Right.
I hope I don't have to do that.
Oh, yeah, I'm not exactly.
But I already have the endurance to worry about, but I don't have to worry about rhythm too. It's gonna be a struggle.
Dancing on the
One
bike.
thing at a time.
Yeah, let me just ride it.
But I think there will be a little bit of that.
And I'm sure, after we do the class and we do interview Brit, she'll, we'll talk about some of these things that we brought up, and we'll actually know from the experience too, how this all went down. But some of the things that I saw from just cycling and your spin instructor and all that stuff, listening to music will never be the same.
That could be exciting or scary.
Yeah, I'm not really
That sounds
sure.
ominous.
I'm curious to like if they say turn up the resistance and then I just like fake turn up the resistance. If
Yeah, is
people-
anyone tracking this?
Are people gonna know the difference?
If not, then I'm looking pretty.
Yeah,
Let's keep it at that 0 setting the whole time.
right.
I'm legitimately looking forward to this. I know cycling's been kind of surging in popularity the last few years, and I've never really partaken in anything like this. I remember first hearing about it I had some friends living in Washington, D.C., and it was like exploding there, and then it started growing nationally. So when I think about cycling, I think about like trendy DC, fitness-minded people, because that's a pretty fit city. And it's like I get that comes to mind, and I do think of it as typically more of a female-dominated space. But yeah, this will be the first time for me, and I think it's gonna be fun.
I definitely concur with the female-dominated thing. I think as a man, I will definitely, as men, will be the minority there.
You're right. That's what I anticipate. Maybe not, but
I wonder if it's because it works more of the lower body that's
the dudes just want the beach muscles.
Well, right. Do you think that deters men from wanting to do this exercise, or at least maybe? Maybe it just doesn't appeal to the man side of it.
It could also be that
Male generation.
It could be that a lot of men are seeking more like muscular size, and they might not think that it's beneficial from that standpoint. I think as if you think about cycling, you might think of it as like a cardio weight loss activity, even if that's not necessarily true. And even if you're trying to build muscle or power or strength or athleticism, you should still be doing cardio and having some endurance. But I would fit it from my standpoint. I don't do a ton of cardio because I focus on like other things. So cycling never really entered my mind for the goals that I'm aiming for.
Right, and that's true too. I mean, we, as people who work out pretty regularly, we don't necessarily work on our cardio. I play sports, so I consider that my cardio.
Right.
And I wouldn't say that I'm peak performance or have any substantial cardio whatsoever. But I don't. I mean, I guess you're not going to see me having a heart attack because I'm lifting weights. You'll see me have a heart attack running on the treadmill, perhaps. But No,
And I get my cardio in, occasional sports, but I haven't played as many sports since some of the injuries I've sustained. It's mostly just like elliptical, treadmill. I have ridden the bikes at the gym.
yeah, I don't mind the
just-
bikes, but they hurt. They start to hurt after a while. So I'll keep on the ones that are
that's
more
also
of the inclined ones, and I prefer that. And I could ride those forever, but I don't necessarily. I'll do the minimal resistance or just kind of medium resistance.
Yeah, and if I was like, I really want to focus on my endurance right now, and I wanted to think about what I should do, especially given the equipment that I have at the gym that I'm at, I'd be looking at like doing a circuit or doing some high intensity jumping jacks, switch to something after that, like.
Right, I'm not going to put my full focus on a bike.
Right. That it wouldn't necessarily cross my mind. I might go in the pool. I'd love to have a prowler, but my gym doesn't have a prowler right now, so I'd be sticking probably to some sort of circuit.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that's going to be the more interesting part of this is that if it is something that we would want to sustain, how would we fit it into our workout regimen currently?
The nice thing about BikeOrBar is it looks like you can buy like X number of passes and use them whenever you want, which would be a great way to fit something like that into your schedule if you wanted to do it once a week.
Buy 25 classes,
Yeah.
maybe do 2 a month, and then you get your 2 to 3 for the year. I mean, per month for the year. So that's
For a little
pretty
while I was
substantial.
doing some MMA training, and there was conditioning involved in that, and there actually was conditioning specific classes, and so I kind of did that for a while, where I was going to the gym lifting weights, and then a couple times a week going to this gym where I paid for packs of classes. So it'd be the same concept. That works out pretty well if you're looking for flexibility.
Do you think that for a spin class like this, that and not only, I mean, obviously you would over time get used to it, but do you think because of that stigma of the first time is going to kick your ass and everything, that maybe that shies people away?
Yeah, some people could be afraid of or intimidated, let's say, by the challenge that they'd be confronted with, especially early on when they're not necessarily ready to sustain for the entire class. I'm sure that's what keeps a lot of people away from any sort of fitness activity. I think it's intimidation. That's why Planet Fitness, I think, is successful, because they kind of try to market to people that might be hesitant to join another gym because they think they're gonna be judged or something.
Right, you get the lunk alert or whatever it is.
Right.
Even though
It's like they've built an entire business model around.
Right.
Hey, you won't be intimidated here.
Right.
People make fun of it, and so do I. But it shows you that there are people out there that have these kind of hesitations.
Well, there's also a culture to spinning as well, I think.
Oh, for sure. And the people that go to BikeOrBar are like die-hard fans. Like,
Well, they also enjoy the spinning. I think the spinning culture.
some
as
of
a
them
whole.
probably go to multiple studios in the area, and throughout the week. I'm sure if they're really into cycling.
Do you think it's the studio or do you think it's the instructor?
Good question. Probably more the instructor. You would guess people might want to
What do you think takes
experience
to be?
their favorite
What do you
instructor.
think it takes to have a good instructor? Like, what would be in it? Like, if I mean, obviously we know the basics. We're on a bike. We're whatever. But do you
Right,
think
there might not be a lot of technical coaching.
like, do we want somebody to be yelling at us the entire time? Do we want somebody to be just
Motivation
kinda
is the first thing that came to my head.
Right.
Someone that might, for whatever reason, they're good at getting my juices going.
But I mean, well, what's your limit? What's your how motive? Like, how do you want
How
to
in
be,
your face?
Yeah, how
Do
in
I-
your
do I
face
want-
do you want somebody? Do you want to be,
I'll know when I'm there.
Do you want somebody to be, from
when
right.
I'm in it and they're yelling at me, I'll know if it's too much or not.
Okay. I'm trying to think of like
That's the best way I can answer
the
that.
varying degrees. Do you want somebody from what was the sergeant's name? And he was always yelling at Private Pile. I can't think of his name right now, but like that type of yelling in your face, or do you want like
I might
military
appreciate
drill
that.
instructor?
Yeah. I
More
think
of a
I might like
military,
that.
like you maggot.
Yeah. I think I would appreciate that. I don't want someone who's afraid to get in my face. I don't think you'd have that job if you were too boring. I can't think of any characters to reference right now. That's your job.
I wonder if it could be more Oprah-esque, like you go girl, like get it. I could see those being maybe the two spectrums.
I just hope my coach isn't Michael Scott.
So,
That would be an overbearing amount of enthusiasm, I think.
okay. I don't think. Well, I
Like
think
forgetting the social cues also.
from what I know of Brit, she's very laid back,
Right.
and I
In
think
person.
that she appreciates that laid back
I think
mentality.
we're gonna see another side of her today.
Maybe that'll be something we're looking forward to.
You're gonna
We'll
be like, you're gonna wonder if this is the same person that you know outside of the studio.
she's not the same as she is inside.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we touched on.
Maybe that's why people go. They can let out another side of their personality that they keep repressed all day in their office jobs.
So we touched on the stigma.
I'm getting deeply psychological.
Yeah,
here.
you're going real deep. Touched on the stigma, especially for men like us who have never thought that the spin class is something that would entice us. But I mean, there's got to be some kind of benefit. The benefits to cycling.
Britt will talk to
I
us
think
about
cardio.
that.
Yeah, I think Britt will. When we interview Britt more, she'll definitely talk about more about the benefits. Other things that I'm sure she'll talk about will be just kind of the understandings of spinning as a whole and what takes to become a spinning trainer and stuff like that, or a studio owner.
Right. She owns the business.
Right, and then the process of like new classes and stuff like that. Because I think too is you can't have every class be the same.
Right. They do more than spinning. She's put together all these other.
Well, even just a spin class, not every spin class. You can't just keep it repetitive. People have to, I would say probably week in and week out, it has to have some kind of variation to it.
Yeah, I think that's what I've seen, that they have like DJs sometimes will come in to mix it up musically. But
I mean, I'm saying even just the spinning itself, like, I mean, obviously, yes, you're on a bike. How much
you mean
variation?
like how she planning the workout so that they stress you enough so that you're actually adapting?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. What are the different variations of the spin class that you can come up with? Does it, or is it always forever kind of repetitive in that sense? I don't know. I mean, obviously they're doing something right, something different, because people keep coming repetitively to, they have like probably those core group of people, and also, like I said, the trainers and all that stuff too. But what is it that makes week in to week out a class different? That'll be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
And
I wonder how you mix it up. I mean, you can vary if you're sticking in that same time window, you're probably just varying the intensity and the resistance a lot.
Right. And in the end, what is the main benefit of spin class? Is it just for the leg strength? Is it just for the cardio? Me personally, I would think it's a mixture of both. You have that lower body strength, but also the cardio probably aspect of it. I mean, I would imagine that some people are coming to lose weight.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. But
I would assume that most people are doing it because they want to lose weight and perhaps for cardio.
Right.
And that the main benefit, I would think, would be endurance, but I could be wrong on those points.
Yeah, some things we're going to uncover for you guys and for you people that are listening. So we're going to cut our part here short, and we're going to, obviously, next part here will be coming up with Brit.
To the gym.
Yeah, so we're going to head to the gym and see how it goes, and we will have Brit, and we will report back our findings when we come back. So keep listening to HeroFit Podcast. All right, we are here on the HeroFit Podcast. I'm Nick. We have Dan as my co-host, and we have the lovely Brit here today, Brit Leo. And so who is Brit Leo?
Right into it.
Right into it. That's cool. So right now I feel like I'm just like a busy chick running a fitness studio. January is the month for that. So I'm just kind of like working like crazy, working out like crazy, but getting paid for it. So it's a good gig. January is a good time of year to be Brit Leo.
Okay. January. Duly noted.
Do you always talk in the third person?
Yeah.
No, never. Oh, I feel like a loser, but
start.
Maybe. Yeah. It makes me feel very vain.
Work on your brand.
That
Just start
works,
talking
yeah.
in the
Right.
third
Just,
person.
right?
Might help you on the IG.
Yeah. Brit Leo needs to eat some humble pie,
So previous to this, Dan and I recorded our thoughts on what we felt like spinning class is going to be, because we've never taken a spinning class. And so the whole reason why you're even here, why we're talking to you, other than you're really cool, is because we took a spin class with you.
You did, yes. And you guys talked about it already.
We did our
What were we expecting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so they know that I didn't hear any of it.
No, you didn't.
I have no idea what you guys thought.
We'll kind of talk about that
get into that.
momentarily. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of just a little bit pre stuff, but for you is what got you into spinning?
So my mom and I were going to Gold's Gym at the time, and we were taking spin classes, and we were kind of just like, wow, we could do this better. Like we could play like more upbeat music. We could have metrics. We could have music videos. Like we could do cool stuff for spin. So it was like going to those classes and being like, man, I think we could do this better. That led us into, hey, let's try to do this on our own. And also my mom like couldn't get a teaching job. So she's like, I need to create a job for myself essentially. And I was just graduating from Buff State. So I was like, yeah, let's do this.
It's that entrepreneurial spirit.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of in my family. Like, so my aunt owns a gym too. It's like a fitness, or it's a Pilates studio. And then my other aunt owns like a personal training gym in Buffalo. So it's like in our blood to do that. Yeah.
And what were your early understandings of like spinning? Like, you know, you were taking some classes, but obviously some of it's probably transformed since that time. So what was some of the earlier stuff that you...
Okay, so initially, like when I got certified, I was like, wow, do I have to teach like I'm riding outdoors? Like if that's the case, I don't know if I could do this because I'm not a real rider. I don't even own a bike. I never have. So, you know, for me to like pretend like it was going to be an outdoor ride was weird. So once I got certified and that's how they taught me, I was like, I'm going to remix this a little. I'm going to take that knowledge, take what I like to do, and then make it my own. So it's kind of like, yeah, I look at the RPMs and watts and stuff that's important like that, but I still try to have fun and not make it like, okay, guys, we're going up this steep hill. You know, like I just make it more fun than that.
Yeah,
I had fun.
Yeah, I can say from the class
Yay.
I had a lot of fun. Yeah.
Good. I was worried.
It wasn't like that Office episode with Dwight where there is a guy and he's like, all right, we're climbing up the mountain. Now we're going through the valley. Like,
which is cool. Like so in the spinning world, they're called traditional riders and then there's non-traditional. I would be considered non-traditional because I don't ride like it's an outdoor ride. Some of them don't even stand up. They stay in the saddle, seated the entire ride. I mean, that's how hardcore. They wear their outfits, like their outdoor gear. Like they are hardcore traditional riders. So we fight in the spin world, like non-traditional and traditional fight. Oh my God, we go back and forth.
Like Jets and Sharks?
It's ridiculous, but it's real life.
So, well, speaking of that, who did you kind of look up into?
You thought Jets and Sharks, but I thought of the Anchorman scene.
Oh yeah,
that's better. That's more like it.
That is better. You killed a man, Brick.
Who's got the trident?
Yeah. So who did you look up to, like coming up as a spinning instructor? Did you have somebody you modeled yourself after, or?
You know, not really. I mean, honestly, Instagram wasn't like popping for like spin instructors. Like now I can go on there and there's like Fitspo, you know, like there's people that I'm like, oh man, she's like a real, like she's a badass. And I look up to them. But like 7 years ago when we started, it really wasn't like that. It wasn't a thing. It was like a lot of people in big box gyms teaching spinning and you didn't know who they were. They were like, you know, had full-time jobs and didn't do this for a living. Like I do this for a living. It's, you know, and now with like Soul Cycle in New York City, they get paid like a decent wage to actually just be a spin instructor. So there's more people that I think now you can look up to and be like, I want to be like her.
Yeah, when I think of this industry now, I feel like it's so evolved, but I hard to remember, like take myself back to probably when you started, when it was just on the precipice.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, it doesn't even faze me to think, oh yeah, there's full-time spin instructors. But
right.
That wasn't always the case.
And it wasn't a thing when we were like starting this business. So I don't know that I had anyone like that. Now I do. I have like, I fangirl over like, you know, some instructors on Peloton and even like Soul Cycle people. And there's a couple really cool spin studios in Toronto where I'm like, oh my God, she's goals.
Do you have stuff like set up at your own home so like you can test things out, or you just test the stuff out at the gym?
Yeah, no, I have like all the stuff at the gym that I need. I don't have anything at home. No. Mostly from home, I'm doing like customer service stuff too. So all I need is my laptop and I can get it done.
Was it like that in the beginning?
Yeah, it's been like that forever. Like I said, I don't even own a bike. Like I'm the worst. So
I feel like it's totally different anyways. Like riding a bike is way different, obviously, than spinning. So I can kind of understand why not having a bike is acceptable, but it's definitely, it is kind of weird though that you don't own a bike, but you're a spinning instructor.
Yeah, so it is what it is.
Right. I'm trying to think of a correlation. Like it would be weird to be quarterback and this not have a football ever around the house.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, it depends on what your goals are too.
How's
not
that?
everyone would spin for the same reasons. Not everyone would necessarily care about being good at bicycling outside of
Absolutely. Yeah.
outside of the gym, because they're doing it to get fit or to de-stress or whatever.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I just wonder if other spin instructors do. I mean, I know a girl that works for me has a Peloton. So, I mean, yeah, some people like take their work and do it at home, I guess.
Take it home with them. So yeah, we took the spin class, and you've been threatening me with a good time for a while, and so I finally took it up for you.
It sounds
Mostly because of this podcast, but I've been interested. It's just sometimes I didn't think it's necessarily my cup of tea, and I think one of the things we talked about was the stigma that it's not necessarily something guys do. But as I saw from the class, there were tons of guys there.
yeah,
I
surprisingly,
would say about
guys.
half and half that night.
Isn't that wild? And
Yeah.
you didn't think that, right?
Not a fan. No, I thought it would be more female. At least for, I mean, and
Yeah, it was
maybe it was an anomaly. I'm not
It's
sure.
probably like 60-40, and I was thinking it'd be like 80-20.
Yeah, there was definitely a healthy amount of guys there outside of me and Dan.
Did that make you feel more comfortable, or was it just like you didn't
think
care?
about it. Yeah, I didn't think about it at the time. I just noticed it. It was something that I noticed.
Right.
Yeah, I never really had. It wasn't like why I never took one before.
Okay. Yeah, I'm always curious if men feel like, okay, is this only for women?
But it just doesn't seem to be like part of bro culture. Like there'd
Yeah.
be there's like it never came up in my life.
Right.
And then when I saw Gronk doing it, I was like, okay, all right,
I can work with this.
Okay, all right, well, let's see how this goes.
Previously, the most thought I ever gave to spinning or cycling was reading an article one time just about how someone recommended high resistance biking for hypertrophy, like leg training. And then I was like, oh, maybe I would give it a shot when I read that article. Because before that, I would probably have thought, oh, it's a form of cardio and
Right.
it's for weight loss, and those aren't really like my goals.
Yeah, exactly.
But I realized that after the class, I mean, maybe I'm skipping ahead, but I think it could be a good like leg hypertrophy day addition to my weekly repertoire.
Yeah, if I was a rich man, I would be more inclined to participate in the life of spinning, maybe once a month or maybe twice a month.
Yeah.
I think it's something that was interesting. I thought that I did pretty well, especially for my first time. And I definitely didn't like. It was funny because you have these nuances with the bike where you change the resistances and you're doing different types of motions where you're standing up or you're leaning
jumps,
forward,
climbs.
down, back, forth. Yeah, and so
Down, back, forth. Yeah.
I was like up 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I got you.
We're
It's
doing
hard to
it.
get in a rhythm.
Yeah,
on the
I was
first
just
try.
like, yeah. So my hands were all over the place, but I think what was just because I mean, obviously you're trying to get people in quick, and people are trying to leave, and it's the smaller, a little bit small studio for everyone to be in that one area, kind of funneling past each other, but. So when we got to our bikes, it was just like, all right, what do I do with this thing? And I know how to ride a bike, but I didn't know. And so it was nice that you kind of said that in the beginning, do a little bit of the adjustments with the resistance. And,
Right.
And
I know. I try to make everybody like, okay, this is your resistance, because it's confusing. And I think it took me probably like 3 to 5 classes to be like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I get it now. Because there is like a period where you're like, what? Why does my ass hurt? Like, I don't understand the resistance, so that's like the norm.
Setting the resistances for the different parts of the course.
Yeah.
I would definitely get better at that over time.
That's something you totally get used to, and you kind of know what you need as you take more classes.
I noticed one guy that was there, he was kind of almost doing his own thing. But it made me think he probably does this a lot. Like, he knows what he needs.
Right.
He's like keeping the resistance higher.
Totally people that come in and do their own thing, like zone out and do their own thing.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that.
He's probably just absorbing the energy around him and just like, I got my own workout.
On their phones. I was like, what are you guys doing? I was like, I know it's like, during the night, but you got 50 minutes. Do you need to be on your phone right this minute?
And
like,
sometimes I'll call them on it and be like, really? Like, you can't just text your boo and tell him you'll be gone for 50 minutes. You'll text him when you're done.
Yeah, I was like, come on, man. Like,
plus, if you're playing the game, it's good for him to, sweat it out for 50 minutes.
Let him
Where'd
like
go?
miss you. Like, what's she doing?
You're getting a
Why
sweat
isn't
in.
she-
They're getting a sweat in.
Yeah, like it's double sweat, you know.
All the sweats.
I'm trying to make girls play hard to get, and they're on their butt or on their phones.
Where'd you go? Cycling. But yeah, so
Better to evade the question too. Girls out there, if you want to get your guy sweating, don't be on the phone during the class. Don't answer the question directly after you're done.
Who knew there was love tips in this too? I really like it.
We're working on all.
I don't know if it's a love
angles.
tip. It's not love, but it's
Yeah.
Well, he'll fall kind of thing.
yeah. You're right, actually.
So the other part too was
Get him chasing you.
Right. God.
I didn't think I'd need the towel, but that came into play real easy.
Can you believe how much you sweat in what? You
Oh
guys-
yeah.
It was January.
Yeah.
Can you believe
It was
how-
only a couple weeks. Not even a couple weeks ago.
I know.
Yeah.
So it was cold outside.
Yeah, it was still pretty cold. I think there was snow on the ground at the time or something like
What
that.
was amazing to me was going from the cold, dry air into the building right away, like initially, and just like the humidity from all
the
of
temperature difference. Yeah. It's humid
for
in there.
the
Oh, my glasses were fogged up immediately.
fogged up, but also just because of everyone
body
sweating and
heat.
drinking water and all the body heat in there.
I
It was so
couldn't-
warm in there.
Yeah, I forgot my sports glasses, so I didn't have those
Blasting the
on.
fans.
And I couldn't, so I had to like sit here and I was like, beep, beep, you know, squeegeeing in my glasses.
It was a good sweat. I don't usually sweat a lot in my workouts because even if I'm doing like HIIT, I just don't.
Wow. And you were.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
That's
I
awesome.
was soaked. Yeah, I mean.
Do
it
you
was
sweat
crazy.
normally though, like when you're at the gym?
Well, another thing too is, like I said, we were rushing to get there, so I forgot like my gym bag, and I wanted to put shorts on that were a little bit more,
Airy.
well, not airy, but just a little bit more absorbent,
Oh.
perhaps, and also like thicker, so that way my ass didn't hurt as much.
Oh, yeah.
So I had leggings on underneath, and I ended up having like pants like these on, like, you know, just some jogger pants on, so like having almost two pairs of pants, and then also just like a, you know, absorbent shirt, but everything was just like my head was crazy soaked.
Yeah. Did you feel good after though? Like were the
I felt good.
endorphins
Yeah,
they
I
were
felt
real?
good,
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, I was pretty jazzed about it.
Did you like the music?
Yeah, even though Benny Benassi looks homeless.
He does though. I didn't realize that was him and his mother in the video, and I was like, who are these homeless people? And of course my mother of all people is like, you know, that's the DJ Benny Benassi. I'm like, why do you know that? You're in your 50s. Like, stop. Why are you that cool?
Yeah.
But yeah, so how did you like the music videos, or were they distracting?
Depends.
I didn't pay too much attention. And
Yeah, I think
I mean, I had the option of not watching it, so it didn't really faze me either way.
Yeah, I think it depended on who it was or what it was. I can't remember which one. Oh, yeah, Robin Thicke when you played.
That video actually got my attention.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah.
Kind of risque.
I forgot how hot these chicks are. I was
Right?
like, yeah. And then I can't remember the other. There was another video that got me. And I was like, okay, all right, we're here.
Have you ever seen the Kanye West video for Fade?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's ridiculous.
When I used to play that, people used to just like their jaws would drop, and I'm like, I gotta stop playing this thing. They're not focused.
Who is the girl in that one?
Something Taylor.
Something, yeah. Because I know
She's a basketball player's wife.
Yeah,
She's
he's in
wicked
the end.
hot.
He's at the end.
Yes, they're in the shower together.
Well, I can't think of his name
Haven't
right
seen
now.
Is his last name Taylor? Because that's
No,
my
it's
last name.
not. His name is not Taylor. He was on the Cavaliers. I can't think of his name right now. But
Yeah, you're a sports dude. If
yeah,
you
he was
can't
on the
think of it, I'm
Cavaliers. Now
not
he's on the
gonna
Knicks.
know
I
it.
can't think of his name.
Yeah, she's
What was his
wicked
name?
hot. She's pretty much naked the whole video.
Yeah, pretty
Shumpert?
much. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Amon Shumpert. That's
Nailed
right.
it.
Yes, good job.
Yeah,
I
if
just
you've
know
never
sports.
seen
I
that
don't know
video,
the
watch
music
it.
video. I don't know who this person is.
I just named the teams and then that's.
Know who got traded from where to where.
I drew the picture.
Yeah.
You nailed it. Yeah.
That's why you guys are a good team.
That's right.
I appreciated the like life anecdotes that you were tossing out there.
I don't
like
even.
you're
who
using
knows
it as
what I
like
was saying?
you're using.
Yes.
I was
This
like,
was Dan's
Brit uses
notes.
this as like therapy. She's getting out all of her
Yeah,
like
you
own
did go
personal
therapy.
stresses.
So
and we're
That's
not
accurate.
responding because we're too tired. We're just listening
Yeah,
and
you're just
nodding and
soaking
giving
it
you
in.
validation.
We also didn't have a microphone. So.
right? Yeah. So I have a bachelor's in psychology, so I use that with you guys, and then I
Okay.
also I have a therapy session myself. Like I vent about stuff. I'm very aggressive naturally. I'm Sicilian. You know, I just have like a crazy family and I'm just aggressive.
That
So
extroverted.
So I let out a lot of my aggression and then I just start talking about stuff that's bothering me. It's super therapeutic.
It made me laugh. Like, it was good.
Good. Yeah. I live to entertain you guys.
Yeah, what was it that you walked into the table because your mom moved it?
Oh,
and
yeah.
You were like, you're all upset about that.
Biggest bruise of my life.
Yeah.
On my leg from that.
Yeah. So that was stuff that.
Yeah, I tried to
Your ex-boyfriend finally got off your cell phone plan?
Yes.
I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
2.5 years.
I wanted to respond, but I
Yeah, a
couldn't.
lot of that was
I had
like,
no mic.
I would have been like, you're bad.
I know. No, he was so salty too. I'm like, get over it.
I would definitely have been like, you're bad.
But I really do try to share like things about my life just so you guys are, you know, entertained. And so I know that you're still there. You guys remember stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I
Well,
mean,
To me, it was
Because
impactful.
well,
'cause
it's unique
as soon
to
as
us,
I left, I was like, Nick, I didn't realize that Brit was going to like use this as her own like therapy session as well. That was great.
yeah. You know.
Yeah, that was when the fire trucks came by, and I was like, "It's because it's so hot in here," and everyone, no one laughed. I think
no one could hear you.
giggled, yeah, but no one laughed. I was like, "Damn,
They're so serious.
that's when I needed
know.
a microphone."
A couple people laughed, but I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah,
So.
and you were right in front of me, so
The music's pretty loud though. That's why I have earplugs
At that point, we were
up front.
pretty dead.
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Just
the
like,
other
how am I going to
comment,
get through this last 15 minutes?
yeah, the other comment was, "Oh, yeah, 2 more songs, 2 more
Two more
songs,
songs.
go.
2 more songs. Yeah.
2 more
You
songs."
definitely lied about how many songs.
Yeah.
you
So I
had.
do
like,
that
2
too.
more songs.
There's like memes out there like spin instructors are the reason I
Yeah.
have trust issues and it's so accurate. Like we're the worst. I'll be like 10 seconds. I'm like, man, I'm going 10 seconds. I got about 25. But
Yeah.
you know, so I just
Yeah, I noticed.
try to
Yeah.
keep you going.
Yeah, you were like 2 more songs, and I was like, "All right."
And then I
I'm
do
going to
it
go hard
with
for
a
2 more songs. And then
Yeah,
I'm like,
I was like,
post
"Oh."
time.
Yeah, I'm like,
You're like,
"Oh, 2 more
two
songs."
more. Wait, I thought there was just
But
2
it
more.
kept
And I
you-
just went really hard.
going along.
I will say though that the first about 15 minutes, I was like, I ain't making this, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden after that, I was like, oh man, I'm fine.
You're in
I'm
your
good.
groove.
I'm good.
Same.
I'm great.
Second win came.
Yeah, I was good. The rest of the time, I was
Made you
good.
realize that your brain is a problem.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I pushed through, and I really did. I looked at my watch. I was like, 15 minutes. I'm like, I ain't gonna make it.
Why
I
does
was
it
like-
give me such pleasure to like make you guys like, you know, hurt like that and be like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do
I
it.
ain't
Yeah.
gonna make it. And then I was just like, all right, I'm good.
And then the next day or two afterwards, I was like really thankful that I did it.
Were you
I
sore?
just felt very good. Yeah, but I wasn't too sore. It was a good sore, and my joints
Just
were
my
not
taint.
sore, and that was most important because
right.
I can
'cause
have
it's
like
low impact.
it's like no knee or lower back problems.
Right.
Just my taint, and
Eesh, yeah.
A
little tender, yeah.
I will say that during it, my feet hurt.
Yes.
The outsides
Right.
of my feet, front of my feet hurt.
That's why we wear spin shoes.
Yeah,
Most
well, I don't
I
for
remember that
I
too.
have
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
the sneakers, and I had a foot or ankle or something.
I'd say about
flaring up.
about halfway or more. I was like, man, these are falling asleep. I was like, but I'm gonna, if they gotta go, they gotta go.
I like that
My
mentality.
feet had a good run.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna finish this. But it was also, I think what was helpful was when you're talking about dig with your heels instead of your toes, and I think that helped
I
a
didn't do
lot.
that.
I felt better with the spinning when doing that, but I did feel my feet were falling asleep. I would say about halfway through, and I was like,
Yeah, that's
So it wouldn't be totally appropriate for me to make fun of the people that have the gear, because I was like, oh, nerds. Like they have like real bike, like cycling gear on. I just had like basketball shorts and track shoes.
you know, I make
But
fun
then
of
my
them,
feet
so-
hurt.
Yeah, no, the clips you need. But when you're wearing like I don't know.
it was just that I think my
Tour
The
feet,
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah,
suit.
like
I felt like my feet were too enclosed. Like I know you have to have them in the saddles
The
or whatever
straps, yeah.
straps, but I felt like that
Maybe
was
that
what
was
was
too
closing
tight.
mine. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like I said, we didn't have enough time to like really go over the nuances of everything and like get fully.
One of mine was
into-
strapped in real tight.
that was my second class, guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
first of
what I
all,
was thinking. I'm
I
like,
was teaching
how many
since
times did
4:30.
you do
It was
this?
my third class, so I was like 2.5 hours
And
of
you had one
spinning.
more after.
Yeah, but it was different. Like it was in the back room.
Oh, okay.
But still, so it was like, you know, we go hard.
So you're burning 1,500 calories a day just
Yeah.
teaching.
So how do you recover from something like that?
I do like BCAAs, so I do like the branched amino acids and branched chain amino acids. And then, I sleep a lot. Like, I don't have a man or like kids or like a pet waking me up. Like, I need to sleep.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I do all the natural recovery. If you want me to keep it real.
Hey,
That's what
there
I
you go.
do. I get massages like once a month too, because I'm always sore. So
I'm after having a couple, I'm a huge proponent of that. Like, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Having a good massage
Game
definitely
changer.
helps. Yeah. So what are your diets like? So you have to kind of do other than BCAAs and all that stuff.
Right.
What
Yeah.
else are
So
you
I
trying to
do, like, I drink a lot of water. I'm constantly parched, so I'm always drinking water, and I'm like doing protein too. I always try to get in protein. Even if I can't get, like, okay, let's say I couldn't have chicken for lunch or something, I'll do like a protein shake or like a bar, just so I get it in there some way. And I have a lot of
That's what she
caffeine.
said.
And we talked about that since the BikeOrBar is not a bar because of the play on words.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Bar meaning that was supposed to be referencing like bar classes, right? Like
Well,
ballet thing.
it turned into that. I actually wanted to have a juice bar when we first opened and like do it up front, and then that just never came to fruition. So I just turned it into like, okay, we do bar classes. So that's where it is.
Yeah, we should say that BikeOrBar is where we went to, and that is the place that you. I don't know what. So what is that? You owner, part owner,
Co-owner.
co-owner? With
Yeah,
with
my mom is the head biatch.
There you go. I think we talked about it before, but you were looking into maybe doing like a protein bar or something like that. No,
Yeah.
Protein shake bar.
Right. So right now I'm kind of thinking I want to do like have a better refrigeration system and either do shakes or do meals. Like I'm just getting so many people in there. I want them to be able to like grab a meal when they go or like a shake, something like that. So it's something that I'm actively working on right now, and it'll probably
Makes
be
sense.
good to go by like spring or summer.
Yeah, that's what something I'm a huge proponent of is the protein timing, getting your protein in right after a workout, especially because you're working those new muscles.
Right.
So I think that'd be pretty huge. How many bikes do you guys have?
I have 35. Yeah. And they're nice. They all have monitors, like I said, and they're the nicest ones I think in the industry right now. They were not cheap.
Yeah, I don't have experience, but I noticed that just it seemed like the build quality of the bikes was very high compared
Yes.
to just the commercial gyms I've been in.
I will say a couple times I
toying
thought
on the bikes that they have.
I thought I was gonna go take the bike with me going forward, but
It's because you're so strong.
there was a couple times where I rocked it. I was like, I don't think I should be doing that. So
Yeah.
I kind of like was a little bit more hesitant when I went forward on sometimes.
Yeah, just engage your abs if you're going to fall, Just make it about fitness at the end of the day.
just start doing push-ups.
Yeah.
Meant to do that.
Yep. That's how I look
The
at it.
resistances were all like smooth to change it and transition and
Yeah, there's some
Well
really
oiled.
scary, crappy bikes out there. They're like the old spinner bikes that have been in gyms for 20 years and they don't get serviced, and they're just like scary to ride on. And after riding on like the
wouldn't be fun.
stages, it's not a good ride.
For us, would you say that was like a typical spin class workout then?
At my gym or like,
What we did, what we
across
went
the-
through, was that typical?
yeah, I would think so. I mean, at BikeOrBar, that's what we do. I don't like my spin instructors to be cookie cutter though. I know gyms that train them to be all exactly the same style. I don't do that. I don't pick people's playlists. I give them suggestions, and then I just kind of let them have their own personality. I like diversity on the schedule.
it makes sense. And I could
But some
sense that it was
people-
your class. And
Right.
I enjoyed it
Yeah.
for that reason.
Thank you.
And what other things that you feel aren't, like more outside the box comparative to other spin? Like what do you think that you think is, other than maybe the music or stuff like that, is?
Yeah, the music might be like, I usually am okay with playing like explicits at that time of night. Like I don't really edit the playlist as far as that goes. I think we're unique because we have Spivvy. We have that virtual riding system, so you can see how you did while you're riding and then like at the end of class. But then we also have the fun part of it with the music videos, and we have MyZone. So we have a heart rate monitor. You can see where you are the whole ride in the front room and then in the back room. So we have like a mix of everything, I think. And I'm hoping that draws people. I think it does.
Yeah, I think obviously just from the turnouts and all that stuff, and you have a wait list, and
Yeah, I try to keep
like you
it
said, all those
well-rounded.
classes, yeah.
I was going to mention that, like the data, you still have, for people that are more data driven, the heart rates, the distance that they traveled
Right.
and all that. stuff. It's up on a board, and you can see that compared to like other riders in the room if you're competitive.
Exactly.
So, like,
I like to cover all.
no matter what motivates you, you can find something.
Yeah, and that was my goal. So I think that works out.
What are some of the new spinning trends that you're seeing right now?
I see a lot of like rhythm rides, which is pretty much you go really fast without a ton of resistance. And I don't love that. It's not my style. It's kind of more the Soul Cycle style. And that's not really for me. I just feel like that's how you hurt your knees. You know, if you don't have resistance and you're standing up, that's not good for your knees. So I don't love that. That's kind of something I'm seeing a lot more. And I just did a class in Toronto a couple weeks ago, and it was that ride, and I didn't enjoy it. My knee hurt after. I was like, nah. So that's something that I'm seeing lately. But I am seeing better bikes out there, which is encouraging. Yeah, I don't want it to be like all a downer. Like there's better bikes being put out there, even at Soul Cycle and all that stuff. So that's good.
I noticed that low resistance thing was, a little troublesome for the knees when I kicked it down to a lower resistance, but I was still had like a bunch of momentum.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of how some studios ride. Yeah. And
that wouldn't be fun.
No, that's scary to me. So I don't really get down with that.
That like sometimes if you're switching it up and you're trying new things that people get irritated with that, or do you think they're just like go with the flow, accepting of the change?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of go with the flow. I've been doing this for a while. It's not like it's like, my first year or anything like that. So if I do something, they'll follow, and if it's good, they'll tell me, and if it's bad, that's the beauty of my clientele. They'll tell me like, nah, we didn't love that. I'm honest with them, so they're really honest with me, and I appreciate that.
What has been the most challenging and hardest part of the journey? And what have you done to kind of like overcome that stuff? Yeah.
So when we first opened, and I was actually telling somebody this at the beginning of January, it was so hard for me to convince people to pay to come spinning, because they're like, why? I can do it at my gym. It's free. I don't have to pay like an extra fee to go spinning. And I'm like, okay. So then once they started taking classes, they're like, I get it now. And I feel like being the first spinning studio in Buffalo, I had to like make that happen for them. Like I had to be the one to be like, no, you got to pay for it. And now they are. And it's kind of made it easier for everybody that's opened up. People know you got to pay for a good spin class now. And I'm not saying that LA or any of the big box gyms have bad spin classes, but they're quite different than what we do.
After doing it, I see the value and why you would spend extra for it. Because I kind of question that too. Like,
right.
I already have a gym membership. Why would I need it? Like,
and have you taken a spin class at your gym?
I've watched them, but I haven't participated.
I would love for you guys to take one.
To see the difference?
Yes. Just so you see.
Do you think there's a different vibe? I mean, you think that the vibe with your classes, is that what makes more unique experience?
Yeah, I think the vibe is people that are in the community that spin a lot, and they kind of like know each other at BikeOrBar and like make friends. I don't know that happens at a big box gym. It might a little bit, because I remember seeing like familiar faces, but nobody ever talked to me.
I've taken other classes, like yoga classes and stuff, and it doesn't seem to be a lot of interaction between the members. It's kind of
so I think I have a very like all-inclusive vibe. Like I want everybody to be everybody's friends, and I've been like that since I was 5. Like I was the girl in the class that made everybody become friends. So
everybody love everybody.
That's my vibe, and yeah. Come on in.
There you go.
Yeah, so I think that helps, yes.
And I'm guessing you would also have more of that measurement side too than like an LA Fitness, as an example, just because you're there. Spin class, like I doubt they like have heart rate monitors you can wear and stuff like that. Maybe there's something built into the bike you can hold and just see for that second, and it's probably not tracking your progress over the entire course of the class. I don't know.
How important do you think 7 years ago, the internet, social media was still kind of in its infancy, but how much has that been a growth for you and for the industry?
Oh yeah, I think it's totally changed the industry, because everything
there's one guy who was pushing you to do a lot of social media.
Wonder who that was.
Yeah,
really smart guy.
Yeah.
No, the social media has helped a ton.
I'm wondering.
Still don't know. Yeah, no, it's been super beneficial for my whole thing, because I don't really pay for advertising. So I've just done that all through social media. Has per your recommendation, I I stepped it up on social media.
Yeah, you guys did. No, I think you guys are pretty much killing it on social media now, which is
Thank
good.
you.
And all you had to do was just show people what you guys are doing.
Right.
And that's really was the basics, was just showing people what you're doing, and people, once they saw it, they'd be like, I want to do that, or I want to try it, or stuff like that, which I think is definitely helpful.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And on some Brit stuff here. Favorite cheat meal?
Oh God, pickle pizza. Have you ever had it?
I've seen it. Yeah, I saw TC Wheelers has it or something
Yeah,
like that.
that's where I get it from. It's trending hard right now. I love pickles and I love pizza, so it's like, did you think I was even going to say that?
No,
I'm a wild card though.
First I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Try it.
No,
if you like pickles.
I always expect something different from you.
World's been like turned upside down a little bit.
What?
I'm trying to even imagine what this is. Is this red sauce still? Like,
No, it's white. It's like a white.
There's just
Yeah, it's
covered
like
in
a white-
pickles and then baked. Like, what is this?
Well, it's like
It has
imagine
cheese.
instead of pepperoni, it's pickles.
Yes.
It's a white pizza with pickles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Incredible.
actually sounds good.
Yeah. Well, shout out to TC Wheelers. They're doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I get it from.
If you could change one thing in your spinning career, what would it be?
In my spinning career.
Spinning or, whatever, coning, stuff like that.
Right. Okay. I don't know if this sounds lame, but I would totally change the vibe between the traditional riders and the non-traditional. I know it's probably hard for you guys to understand, but it's like the fighting between us, like the whole Anchorman
lame.
scene.
It just
It's
sounds
so
Doesn't make sense
lame.
in my.
And even like me saying stuff about like the box gym and like, they're spinning there. I'm not like hating on anybody. Like if you're getting a workout, good, like that's amazing. Amen. Like good for you.
Do it up big.
Yes, exactly. But I do wish we could
Different
bridge
strokes for
that.
different folks.
Yeah, totally. But I want to bridge that gap because it's so lame to fight on social media. They'll write nasty comments on some of my photos and like videos of people doing like push-ups on the bike. Like, let it go, So that needs to stop. It's catty and it's
kinda
not
lame.
productive.
It's lame.
Yeah. So.
Tribalism everywhere.
Yep.
Another podcast for another day.
That's right.
Yes.
Not on the HeroFit podcast, maybe.
Other than what you're doing for yourself and spinning, what are some of the other things that you like to do?
Like outside of that?
Yeah.
Oh, I love to travel. I'm going to Brazil in March. I like to go to like weird places that I don't see people going. So I went to Israel and Egypt like about 2 months ago.
Quite the adventure, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I like to travel. I actually, when I travel, I like to go to other studios and see kind of what's going on all over the place. That's fun for me to see what's going on in different cities, different countries, like what their fitness is all about. It helps me have like an eclectic vibe here. And I think that's important.
I know I wanted to touch on this earlier, but CBD oil.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that?
I feel like I got into the game kind of early with that, and I think it's great. I have a lot of people that come to the gym and buy the oil. It's calming for them. It helps them sleep. It reduces anxiety. I've never, ever had somebody come back and say, nah, this didn't work for me. It's always like an overwhelming response of like positive results. So I'm a fan. I'm totally down with the CBD. Yeah.
Dig it.
Have you tried it?
I have. I don't know if maybe I'm just weird. I didn't feel really that much to it. But I had just gotten it after like a really deep tissue massage, so it was like,
oh yeah,
I don't know if like it would have.
You have to do it
doubled the
like
calming.
separate from that, I think. Have you done it? Like, have you tried it?
I tried like a capsules that I got, like a sample pack.
I think the oil is better.
And I thought that it helped me sleep a little bit better, but it was hard to really gauge like how else it affected me like throughout the day. I think I only took it once, that like not before bedtime.
Right.
And it's capsules, so yeah, I heard that it's not as effective.
Right.
It also,
Depends on the quality. There's lots of low quality stuff out there. I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it tasted like what I imagine kale would taste like too. And like you got to hold.
I like
it
that
under
you've
your
never had
tongue.
kale.
I also wasn't sure why I was even taking it. I was just experimenting with it to see how it would impact my sleep. But I was like, I don't really have high anxiety, so I don't know if
I don't either.
I don't know if I'm the right person for it. But
Yeah,
I'm
I
too
feel
chill
like-
for that.
If you don't need it, then it maybe doesn't.
I need like whatever the healthy version of cocaine would be.
Oh, me too. Let's start testing that.
Let's go.
All right.
We're gonna do all the
Get all
classes.
jacked up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely
The
need
caffeine
that.
is my drug.
Doing every class today.
I feel like now that you have a fitness podcast, you need to try kale.
Try kale.
It's time. Yeah.
No.
You haven't had. You never even eaten it.
No.
So it tasted like kale, but you don't know what kale tastes like.
That's what I imagined. Kale would taste like.
That's
Like,
why. So that's how I knew we
it
never
was
had
like
it.
real earthy. It was like real like
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, all right, I was like, can I swallow? No.
I would say you don't need to eat kale, but
Just try it.
well, maybe we'll do a podcast on that someday.
Yeah,
vegetables are kind of
we didn't
overrated.
touch on
I
the
think.
whole vegan vegetarian thing. Well, that's for another day. What's next for you in BikeOrBar?
So I want to start having the meals, which I think is going to be good because, like we talked about, the nutrition plus, the workouts are very important. And I don't know. I just want to keep going with it, keep growing it, whether that means getting more clients or just maybe even doing a second location. I'm
all for the second location.
Thank you. Yeah.
It seems like you guys need it.
Yeah.
One around here
so
would be
popular.
Where we're at right now. But I think if you had something maybe out here in the burbs area, it would be a little bit more advantageous for that type of clientele. But you never know.
Yeah. So I am
Test it
open
out, right?
to possibilities. Yeah. And I do think
Maybe
about
go to Toronto. Think real big.
Yeah. I like where your head is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to
Start an
Canada.
empire. Then New York City, Tokyo.
Franchise it. Dan, you going to help me? Because I need help.
I like to travel.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you made my website, so you help me.
Yeah, we can help you make more.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
I'm just giving you a plug because
Thanks.
you guys are good at websites.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. Well, now we want to be good at podcasts, and we're working on that.
Yeah.
Hopefully this one turned out okay.
Prayers up.
Any pro tips you want to impart? Last question.
Any what?
Pro tips
For
for our life, working out, fitness.
If you're you have a billboard, you want to tell the world something.
Right.
What is it? What's the pro tips that you want to impart to our listeners that you feel like might be something that only you know?
right. Oh man.
Take your time. We can edit.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I've been kind of talking about lately, like the idea of finding something that makes you want to come back, like finding something that makes you want to be consistent. And I think that if you find that thing, then you just marry it. You just do it, and that's kind of what I try to do with BikeOrBar. Like, I want you to come back. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to think, oh, that wasn't like that kicked my ass, but it was actually kind of fun. Like, it was exciting. That's what I think the key is as far as fitness goes. I think you have to want to keep coming back and doing more. And I'm hoping that I can do that for people.
For me, you succeeded in that. It exceeded my expectations and kind of opened my eyes to a new world.
That's awesome.
So,
yeah, that's goals at the end of the day. So I really think people need to find something. It doesn't have to be my studio. It doesn't have to be spinning. It doesn't have to be whatever you find that you connect with and that makes you show up. You just keep doing that, and don't starve the distractions because that's what matters.
Some deep shit there.
Oh yeah, I'm getting in there. And then I twerk too. Be serious, be consistent, but then have a little bit of fun.
Do some twerk.
Right.
Yeah, pop your booty.
Or watch twerk. Or
It was
Yeah.
Stevie Johnson, of former Buffalo Bills receiver. Handle business, have fun. It's a good motto.
Amen. Yeah, I like to work hard, play hard, rest hard.
And why so serious?
I'm never really that serious, so
I miss Stevie.
Yeah, agreed. Well, thank you, Brit.
thank you guys.
Not only for the class, but also for doing this, and we'll have to have you on again.
Anytime. Yeah. Can you guys try pickle pizza though before we meet again?
I'll try to remember to go to
I'll
TC's
order one
and-
for our next.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
That'll be perfect after
good.
workout.
Right.
After workout slices.
Great cheat meal.
Carb load, please.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Is that a post-workout or pre-workout?
Oh, I definitely do it post.
All right.
Throwing up pickles.
After you've done like what, 2 classes in a day or whatever.
Yeah, like a
Or
double
1,500
session.
calories that you've burned.
Mhm.
Sesh.
So this is opening my eyes actually to a whole nother thing I never thought about. But the more spin classes I take, the more bad foods I can eat.
Right?
That's right.
Hello.
I work out for pizza and tacos.
Yeah, that should have been my closing
That's what you
thing.
found as your
Yeah,
motivation.
Exactly.
Yeah, whatever it is, whatever keeps you consistent, people.
I want to eat the whole pizza, so I want to work out
And on
Right.
that note,
on that note. So where can we find you?
So my Instagram is at Britannia Leo, which is annoying, but it's BRITANNIALEO, and then at BikeOrBar is our Insta handle, and BikeOrBar.com.
We could put links in the description.
We will,
Perfect.
of course,
Yeah.
but we always want to make sure people are listening.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that was a great interview with Brit. And as per her recommendation, Dan and I decided to, in order to kind of fulfill this podcast, that we should go check out a big box gym and take a spin class there.
Mm-hmm.
Dan?
Indeed. That's what we did.
That's what we did. So how about, let's just talk about right off the bat, the first kind of things that we noticed that were big differences between BikeOrBar and the big box gym. Bikes.
Equipment, yes.
Equipment.
The bikes were much better at BikeOrBar, better aesthetic, sound system. It's just more professional overall.
I didn't like the mirrors. Like the whole room was mirrored, and I don't know if that they had originally maybe this gym had originally planned on this being the spin room. I can't speak on that, but the whole mirrors everywhere thing kind of like I didn't want to watch. Yeah, I didn't want to watch. Like
I actually kind of liked it.
Yeah.
Like I was like I'd rather watch me in the mirror than the instructor.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't watch me in the mirror because I see everybody else. I'm a people watcher, so I'm looking at everybody else and what they're doing. But I preferred the way BikeOrBar had it set up where we could watch the videos and get lost in that.
Yeah, there are way more options for what you could focus on.
Yeah, look around doing different things. So I felt like not necessarily a knock on the big box gym with that, but for me personally, that's my preference. I definitely
more options I think is better.
Yeah.
And at BikeOrBar you can see the screen that's giving you what
your
information
data
against other people. You can look at other TV that's got like you like in a theoretical race against the rest of the room. And then if you're non-competitive, you can just watch the music videos, or you can focus on your own bike and the information in front of you on your bike.
Right.
And here, it's your bike data, the mirror, and the instructor.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, and going back to the bikes, definitely preferred the Stages bikes at BikeOrBar.
For sure.
Not only just because of the different options to make myself feel a little bit more comfortable. I would say my ass doesn't hurt as much, maybe because my second time around. But
I had the opposite. I didn't have any problem at BikeOrBar, but I got sore from this one.
Yeah, I don't feel as sore this time around. Like as
You
far
didn't
as
think you got as good of a workout.
I think I probably still did, but maybe not. I don't know. I guess maybe that's a teaching style, which we'll touch on momentarily. But the bike wasn't. I don't know. I guess for me it was harder to adjust
It's definitely hard to adjust.
the resistance.
100% I agree with that.
The resistance on these bikes. I don't
was
remember
like-
the name of the
It
bike.
was like very sensitive.
Yeah.
And instead of having a notch where you can essentially change, you can find your baseline.
The knob, yeah, that was at the
on
BikeOrBar
You
Stages
find your
bikes.
baseline, that's like your light, and then you got medium and difficult,
Right.
essentially. Here it was like, no, you have this knob, and you can just tap it like a 1/4 inch, and
Yeah.
you've changed 5 levels.
Exactly. And
So
so
it could either be really way too hard or way too easy,
right.
depending on how aggressively you turn that knob.
And not only
And then
that,
it takes you 5 seconds to get it to right where you want it to be. You're supposed to be doing a 20-second sprint. You've already wasted 5 seconds trying to get the knob
right,
in
and
the
now you
right
got to
spot.
try to catch up, and it's just it was just kind of an annoyance. Not as sleek or efficient as the BikeOrBar bikes. And like I said, it's not a knock. I don't know how involved they are with spin classes here at a big box gym. Obviously, they don't put as much.
Well, they're not going to buy the top of the
Focus.
line equipment necessarily.
Right.
It is not their focus.
If it's not their moneymaker.
They're doing probably one class a day maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I think they're doing like 2 or 3. 2 at the minimum, I think. Because there was
Average it
morning
all out though.
There was morning
I don't know.
classes, right? And I mean,
I
even
think
this
some days they might not have any.
right. And this morning we did an evening class, and there was maybe 10 people, if that, because there was some stragglers that came in like halfway through
Yeah,
almost.
8 to 10 maybe.
Yeah. Whereas BikeOrBar obviously
Yeah,
was
so they might not have
jam-packed.
reason to invest further. Once again, there's not.
Yeah,
much
those bikes
interest.
weren't exactly top, not like as
they're
far
probably
as
pretty
top
old.
shape.
They seemed like they were older.
Yeah.
BikeOrBar's bikes were a lot newer.
And the instructor even said, as the class began, she's like, if there's a problem with any of the bikes, let me know after, I'll get them fixed.
yeah.
Which was, not a sign necessarily, but kind of telling that they're not exactly up
knows
on
they're
the
breaking down.
Yeah, they're not exactly up on the uptake of the bikes. Mine seemed a little wobbly. When I was standing up, I could feel it wobble.
So I had a good bike from that standpoint.
Mm.
I felt balanced. It was like very rigid.
Right.
and hard.
Stiff, yeah.
That's why
That's what
it
she
was
said.
uncomfortable.
All right, so let's get into the class. About an hour, which is consistent with what we took at BikeOrBar. The instructor, female again, and she had us. She was kind of just like going with the flow. She's like, "Oh, you know, this is gonna be a nice Valentine's Day type playlist," which didn't seem very Valentine's Day at all. There was
she
only
must
maybe
put the music together though.
You think so?
Just like
Oh,
they
she did
at,
kind of mention it, yeah.
just like Brit does, you know, for her own. So I think the instructors have some ownership there.
Possibly.
And she leads, you know, she leads the class. She was saying how she does different. I was talking to her after the class. She was talking about how she's got different workouts for different days, and how she likes to sometimes do a session where, you know, she's finding your baseline or figuring out how many watts you can output in on average over that 60 minutes, and then the next week you're going to try to beat that mark, and some different things like that.
Yeah, and I think too with the music, it just didn't seem as intense. I felt more driven
the
with
environment was not as motivating.
Yes. I wasn't as engaged.
Yeah.
Even though I was still trying to get a good workout in. And I know I succeeded in that. Like I just didn't feel as, like I said, with the mirrors and all that stuff, it was hard for me to stay like I wanted to have that competitive drive to an extent, even though it wasn't about my numbers the first time, because I didn't know what my numbers were. So I didn't really have that drive necessarily, but I was like, oh, my second time, I still want to see what I was doing and kind of have something to like base it off of. And with the bike, the gauges weren't exactly top notch. It was just kind of all over the place. So I don't know how well it was really reading me to begin with, but I think and that's maybe kind of more because of the bike issue, because of how hard it was to navigate the gears and all that. That could have been an issue, why I wasn't feeling like I was getting as hard of a drive. But also I didn't feel like and I know, once again, it might not be the instructor's fault, but the music and stuff like that just didn't engage me as much.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's just different personalities. Yeah. You could tell the instructor this time around, I feel like she was a little bit more data driven, whereas Brit was more, or at least, I don't know, I can't say Brit's not data driven. You know, we were there for our first class. We didn't have any like previous statistics or anything like that, but she was certainly more exciting, more engaging, more sociable. Yes.
Though speaking of sociable, we did get to hear another diatribe about her personal life. This instructor.
That's true.
She went into us about her driving, was it, to get there? What was it? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
There was something, and I made a look, and I said, "Oh, we're getting psychological."
She was trying.
Yeah,
I think it's got to be. I would say this. I think she's in a harder position than Brit, because the clientele, the riders, were not as engaged overall. There were fewer of them. Most of them were in the back row.
Yeah, like get away from, don't
back
look
in the corner, like,
yeah, don't look at me.
We were front and center, like
we were literally front and center, and she put a focus on us too.
We were new, so she was kind of excited about that.
Yeah, especially
she really wanted to talk to me afterwards, like, oh my gosh, there's a new person, and like they might actually engage, like, because everyone else is like in and out, putting my head down and get in and out.
They were definitely out of there. Yeah,
I think
maybe one or two other people might have like talked to her in between, us leaving.
Yeah, so I think she might have a harder job in a sense. It's also not her full-time thing, so she's not as refined. You could tell that. I think she's part-time. So something she does because she enjoys cycling, but she has another job that's not fitness related outside of the gym.
Right. You didn't get the towels. You didn't get I brought my own towel because I came prepared, because I needed it.
Absorbed it in my shirt.
In your shirt, yeah. The water holder sucked. What else? I would say her stopping, like, I think maybe because of the amount of people, she was more laissez-faire about how everyone got their workouts in. And once again, there was a dude that was just doing his own thing pretty much.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
The dude next to you.
I was so focused on the mirror.
Yeah.
Staring at myself, admiring myself.
Yeah, you went American Psycho, where I was paying attention to everybody else around me. There was a dude he was already in there like cooking before we even started. And then he was just cooking the entire time. Like he was
as if nothing was going on around him.
Pretty much. He kind of did some of the stuff that we did, but he was more focused on him doing his own thing. And once again, I think as an instructor, whatever,
Which happened yeah, because that happened in BikeOrBar too. I mean, what are you,
Right.
well,
For better or for worse.
what are you supposed to do anyway? Like,
Yeah. It's not like they're
You're
paying
outta here.
Yeah. It's not like they're gonna like get on my spin class. But the music was so. That was I think I enjoyed some of the music, but some of it that's probably another part where it wasn't engaging to me.
yeah,
Maybe because you
different
don't
styles. It was definitely both both Brit and the instructor that we just took a class with, and I'm pretty confident they're both picking their playlist based on their own likes and dislikes and personality.
Exactly.
And she was older.
Yes.
She was baby boomer.
Yeah.
Versus millennial. So music taste reflected that a bit.
I will say that this confirmed to me that I do want to incorporate spin classes or something of that ilk into my repertoire of workouts.
Yeah.
Whether it be once a week, once a month, something along those lines. I do want to do more spin classes.
I agree. I was already at that level after just that one class with BikeOrBar. And then it was just reiterated because it just felt like I got a really good workout.
Yeah.
The endorphins were flowing afterwards. I felt good.
Yeah, I felt great.
And aside from the lower back pain because of the
bike makeup,
yeah, which I guess I'd get used to, and the seat also not being the most comfortable.
My shoulders hurt.
The workout itself I thought is good. It's good for me, good for my body, gets my legs a nice pump, gets my heart going. It's a good cardio workout, but way easier on my joints than running or heavy lifting.
Right. I went bowling after, and it was like, I don't know. And so you're not going to failure, obviously. You're not, killing yourself.
Well,
but you're still getting,
right,
but you're still getting that good workout. That's what I'm saying. There are times where you are, but it's through different intervals. And I still feel like I can move on with my day if I was to take it in the morning or afternoon or even in the evening, early evening like we did and still be good.
Yeah. It's like, it's giving you a workout, and it's also making you mobile.
Right.
As opposed to sometimes when you do like a heavy squats or something, you're like waddling out the gym unless you stay in foam roll or stretch afterwards.
Right.
So you're definitely getting that flexibility.
I would say, obviously, if I had to choose between the two, I'll pick BikeOrBar every time.
Just trying to get that BikeOrBar money.
I'm trying to get that BikeOrBar money between the two, and small sample size, but
it's clear. There's a clear difference between a studio that is
focused on it,
dedicated to it, versus just one piece of the pie at a big corporate
gym
facility.
Yeah. That doesn't necessarily care if you're a spin class person or not. But I will say that if I had nothing better, that I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
That is my option.
Actually, it was better than I thought it would be.
Yes. Going in with minimal expectations.
I went in with very low expectations.
Low expectations. I'm like, this is probably not going to blow me away, but I want to get a good workout.
Strictly because of the instructor.
Yeah.
I thought, she was decent.
Yeah.
She wasn't as refined as Brit, but I don't know. I just thought she was good. She herself is into cycling. You can tell. It's like a passion of hers, more of a hobby than a profession.
Right.
But the equipment and the aesthetics of the room and the sound system and all that, all of a much lower tier.
Yeah, agreed. That would be my only beef, would be like, how can I make the bike situation better if I had, like, if this is what I had to deal with.
Perhaps if they invested in some better bikes, maybe more people would take the class. I don't know.
Tough to say. But wrapping it up, overall, take spin class. I think for me, I learned that I do enjoy the spin class. I didn't think I would. It's not for just girls, even though it obviously is more dominated by, I think, the species.
We thought, yeah.
It's still, even in this class, comparatively, more. Actually, I think there was about
50,
even.
50,
it was about even, 50-50. But small sample, obviously, comparative to the 30.
Also older demographic, I think. BikeOrBar was
there was only me, you, and
riders.
I think a girl that was like our age. Everybody else was in their 50s-ish. And then BikeOrBar was obviously more our age.
Might have accounted for the fact that you thought you didn't get as good of a workout in. I thought I got a pretty good workout because I was sort of at least halfway through, kind of ignoring the instructor. She's like, it's we got a nice 3-minute like climb here or whatever.
Yeah,
and I'm like, 3-minute climb.
I saw you kept your gear high up.
I was like, I'm going to crank this gear up and just do like my own HIIT training.
Yeah.
So I'd do like 15 seconds at a high level, like pedaling as hard as I could. Then I'd scale it down a little bit and just,
You just think you're better than her. No, I'm just kidding.
I just really wanted to beat
Yeah.
your watts.
Yeah, you were trying
to
to beat
me on the last at BikeOrBar. So
yeah, I housed you.
I
at
got you
BikeOrBar.
even though you didn't know we were racing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's good.
But yeah, overall,
but I
would
also
say at the
don't.
same-
I'll say this before you finish.
Okay.
I don't trust the data on these bikes as I did the BikeOrBar bikes.
likely excuse.
Uh huh. We'll see. Third time's a charm.
My takeaway is the same. I think I didn't realize that I would enjoy spinning / cycling, and it's something I want to incorporate into my fitness routine, preferably at a studio that specializes in it, because it's just a better experience overall. But if worst comes to worst, even at the big box gym, I think it's
Viable.
worth taking.
Definitely viable. All right. Well, thank you again for listening to this, and we hope you've enjoyed not only our takes, but the interview with Brit, and we'll be releasing the full interview with Brit later on this week.
Later this week?
Yeah.
So if they've just listened to it,
We'll be releasing it later this week. Yeah.
Wait, well, that's weird. It's trippy.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken DMT?
Not yet.
Joe Rogan reference right there.
Thanks for listening to the HeroFit podcast with Nick and Dan. We hope you've enjoyed our show, and if you want to know more about this episode or listen to past podcasts, check out HeroFitPodcast.com. Our audience is strong, so we can't ask you to smash that subscribe button. Instead, please gently jab the subscribe button. Also, leave us a review on iTunes, Google, Spotify, or whatever medium you're listening to us on. And if you think someone you know would benefit from this podcast, please share it with a friend. Join us next time. Till then, keep it classy.
This has been another episode of the HeroFit Podcast, making humans great again, one podcast at a time.